Her relationship with Diddy. Well, on one hand we have people saying that they are grateful that Jan is not part of the Diddy train wreck, like this person who wrote on X, appreciate Janet Jackson, so thankful she's not part of the Diddy club and capable of thinking for herself. I think I'm going to listen to Janet's music with more than a smile on my face, peace in my heart, knowing my team music choice wasn't so bad. But on the other hand we have people saying that contrary to that, if you look closely you may realize that Janet and Diddy did actually have some connections. Whether it involved anything illegal or not, I don't know, but we have some people giving Janet the side eye together with many others who have been associated with Diddy, like this person who said, I don't see anything wrong with Janet Jackson, saying that Kamalaharris is not a black American because she isn't. What I do see wrong with Janet Jackson is that she attended Diddy freak golf parties, and there are pictures to prove that fact. Okay, about the relationship between Janet and Diddy is really not one of those that go all the way back. Actually, the first time Diddy really talked about Janet was when he was reflecting on the infamous 2004 Super Bowl where he performed, but nobody remembers because of Janet's wardrobe malfunction. To recap, Janet performed alongside Justin Timberlake for a rendition of his hit Rock Your Body, and in the song's final line, I'm going to have you naked, by the end of the song he ripped off a section of her PVC bodice to reveal Janet's twins and pierced nipple underneath. That was a whole other scandal that I won't even get into right now, but Diddy had actually performed before Janet. But because of what happened during Janet's performance, nobody remembers his performance, and he said during a sit-down with Andy Cohen in 2015 that up until that point, he was not even in touch with Janet because he didn't get her number after their performance.
Hey Diddy, I totally love when you performed during the Super Bowl halftime show in 2004. Yeah. What was it like backstage after Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction?
Oh, that's good. First of all, if you just saw my face right now, if you just saw my face, I was reliving a moment for me where I feel like I robbed. I performed on the halftime show right before Janet Jackson, right? And nobody remembers.
Yes.
Nobody. So I'm looking at Katy Perry. Everybody's like, hey, so when you gonna perform at the... I said I performed twice.
Oh my
At the Super Bowl. You didn't remember seeing me?
No.
And when I told him it was the year Janet Jackson, he was like, yeah, I still don't remember. So,
are you in touch with Janet?
Well, no. But I know her.
Right.
I just never got a number for her.
Well, he did eventually get the number, and Janet even said herself that Diddy invited her to his house in the Hamptons, and she declined his invitation several times. Maybe it's because she was aware of what was happening in that house, and I don't know why or when she changed her mind, but in the last few years she has been seen with Diddy. For instance, Janet Jackson and Naomi Campbell partied with Diddy at La Vue in London to celebrate his 54th birthday and the release of his album, and this was literally days before Cassie's explosive lawsuit. They even both posted photos from the party on Instagram. But again, a few days after Cassie's lawsuit dropped, both Naomi and Janet had both removed their posts about Diddy seemingly cutting ties with him at the time. An insider also said that losing people like Naomi and Janet was a big blow to Diddy, saying losing people like Naomi and Janet, those types, is going to be very hard on him because he's such a narcissist child to a lot of people. The insiders saying that only meant that Diddy and Janet Jackson were probably closer than many people ever imagined, and after Diddy was caught, just like several other people, she started deleting all the evidence that would point to a relationship with him. In addition, some people said that the fact that she deleted all evidence with Diddy seemed like a weak attempt at distancing herself from someone that she already knew was a horrible person. But she deleted the evidence only to protect her personal image. Of course, with someone like Naomi, who was there with Janet, there was already a lot to go by because she has actually been exposed as an alleged pimp before with the Epstein case. For those who recall, after being exposed, Naomi denied having any connection to Epstein, saying that she was introduced to Epstein on her 31st birthday by her ex-boyfriend, and that Epstein was always front and center her at Victoria's Secret fashion shows. But she said she did not know him like that. Naomi even said that she had no idea Epstein was using her name to attract young girls interested in modeling. And as he did with many others, he overstated their acquaintanceship.
It's a direct character assassination. I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress, but I will not be held hostage by my past. What he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach like everybody else, because I've had my first predators, and thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this. I mean, right now I stand with the victim. I can't, they're scarred for life. For life. I've rubbed shoulders with hundreds of thousands of people.
Funny that she said that because one of the people who was at Ed said to Naomi after she denied any involvement, "You saw me at your parties, you saw me in Epstein's homes, you saw me on the plane, you saw me get my haircut, you saw me on the streets, you saw me." Basically, Naomi saw exactly what was going on and only defended herself. When everything blew up allegedly, there had been receipts clearly placing her on the private jets that went to the island. So is this what was also happening with Diddy, who based on what Naomi said she deeply regretted having had any contact with Epstein after his conviction, and said that despite rubbing shoulders with who she called one of the hundreds of thousands of people that she stood next to take a picture, she said she was unaware of Epstein's alleged crimes at the time. Naomi even ended the video with a statement reading, "The frightening conclusion here is that if the negative action of your neighbor, colleague, or even an associate can somehow make you guilty to simply by association, then we indeed live in very worrying times. This affects us all. It's wrong, it's unfair, and it be stopped regardless." The streets were also questioning if Naomi was also a pimp for Diddy, because as we have figured from the lawsuits, there were a lot of women involved over the years, and Diddy must have had help getting them, and because she appeared to be all lovey-dovey with Janet at Diddy's party, people were wondering if Janet Jackson was also doing the same thing now. Like I said, although Janet and Diddy haven't interacted that much, there have been a few documented interactions with them, and other than the party where she was photographed with Naomi, there's this video that Diddy himself shared sweetly kissing Janet's hand backstage at the 2022 Billboard Music Awards. While it's hard to hear everything that Diddy told Janet backstage, and the video with the flashing cameras and chatter going on in the background, he clearly lets her know that he's a longtime fan and says, "I've always loved you." But something interesting is that at the time, Janet made a surprise appearance at the award show to present the Icon Award to her friend Mary J. Blige, and other than the video of kissing Janet's hand, Diddy, who hosted and executive produced the show, also posted a series of photos of himself hugging and giving Mary J. a kiss on the cheek backstage to celebrate her getting the award. We already know how people feel about the interactions between Diddy and Mary J. Blige, so I won't even go there, but a lot of people have always said that since Mary J. Blige has also always been so close to Janet, is it possible that Mary J. told her about some of the things that were going on with Diddy? Have they both always known? On the other hand, don't you think it would also be weird for Janet Jackson to associate with Diddy like that, considering how much she defended her brother against allegations that were not so far from what Diddy is being accused of? I mean, there was even a documentary where Wade Robson and James Safechuck accused MJ of saying them for years, beginning when they were respectively about 7 and 10, since debunked the
interesting things about Michael and his particular situation is that it started long before we ever met him. You know, because he was who he was. He was such a massive figure and represented himself as such an angel. And well, I know I didn't have a child, but I love children so much. That's why I love being around children. I want to help other children have a childhood. So long before ever meeting him the first time, so much had been set up already that I was, and I think my mother, my whole family was already surrendered.
In fact, before and even after his death in 2009, Michael Jackson was the subject of multiple accusations and police investigations, as well as civil and criminal lawsuits. Well, as much as Janet Jackson defended Michael Latoya, who's all over the media talking about how she knew what Michael had done was wrong, I must tell you that this is very difficult for me. That Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small innocent children. And if I remain silent, then it means that I feel the guilt and the humiliation that these children are feeling, and I think it's very wrong. I have seen checks payable to the parents of these children, and I don't know if these children were apparently brought the parents by Michael or not, but I have seen these checks, and I've seen these checks through my mother. She showed me these checks that Michael had written to these children, and it's for a great amount, and I'm not speaking pennies. The sums are very, very large amounts, and this is my first time talking about it. And I never want to speak about it, I never want to say anything about it. But I think it's sad because I am a victim myself, and I know what it feels like, and these kids are going to be scarred for the rest of their life. And I don't want to see any more innocent small children being affected this way. Remember, Michael Jackson was also mentioned in the Epstein case, particularly during the testimony of witness Johanna Shelburne, one of the people who alleged that she was touched inappropriately by British Royal Prince Andrew. When Johanna was asked if she met anyone